Sean Payton isn't the only offensive mind in the building for the Broncos. Joe Lombardi, the offensive coordinator, will also be working very closely with Russell Wilson and making a big impact come this season. Hello, welcome into the studio. I am Phil Milani. We got a full house here. Sidney Jones, the Hall of Famer Steve Atwater, the other Hall of Famer, I don't know of what, but Eric Dalala on the end down there. Guys, we're talking about the Broncos offense a little bit here today. Mandatory minicamp is in the books now. What'd you see from the offensive side, Russell Wilson working with a new offensive coordinator in Joe Lombardi?
Yeah, it's very interesting to see Russ working with a different offensive coordinator, second offensive coordinator in 2 years. And it looks like they're working really well together. It looks like Joe Lombardi has a ton of respect for Russ, and Russ has a ton of respect for Joe Lombardi. Now, we'll have to wait and see if it's going to be an effective offensive system. But I think with Sean Payton ultimately at the helm of things, I think it's going to be something that we're all going to be proud of.
Yeah, and this relationship with Joe Lombardi and with quarterbacks coach Davis Webb, those are both important, right? Because Sean Payton has other responsibilities in addition to working with Russell Wilson and this offense. Talking to Joe Lombardi during mandatory minicamp, he said for where they are right now in the middle of June, he's really happy with the progress and where Russell Wilson is. Obviously, there's some habits he was talking about that Russell Wilson has from last year, some things that maybe he was instructed to do previously that they're trying to correct here. But for where they are in the middle of June, so far so good.
And Joe Lombardi, he had high praise for Davis Webb, quarterbacks coach, working with Russell too. And he says he's a really hard worker and he's a bright young guy and thinks he has, a lot of potential, in this league.
Davis Webb obviously played the game last year. I asked him, hey, any surprises now being a coach? And he was like, no, I know the hours that go into it, because I think when you're playing, you're not quite sure how many hours these coaches are working, Steve.
Yeah, you just don't realize that they put in a ton of hours, that they're here into the wee hours of the night. Until sometimes you come in the morning and they look like they haven't combed their hair, look like they've been here. I've had that experience with Bill Belichick, man. I went in one day, I was like, have you been here all night? And I believe that,
yes.
that he was. So, it's great for Davis Webb. But I wonder, with coaching Russell Wilson, a player that he probably looked up to when he played, how does that feel?
What's that dynamic?
Yeah, I mean, does he feel like he can really speak his mind to him, or does he feel like, hey, I'm not going to say much to Russ? I have the feeling with this coaching staff, everybody is being more communicative and that he is able to have those words with Russ. And I believe that Russ is the kind of guy that it doesn't matter the age. If it's coaching, he's going to take the coaching.
Most definitely. Here's what Joe Lombardi had to say about working with Russell Wilson. Coming over from Justin Herbert, now he's getting to work with another top-tier quarterback in Russell Wilson.
For June, 14th, I think we're real happy where he's at. I mean, he's there's some muscle memory that we've got to overcome. He's used to doing things a certain way, and we're presenting a new way of doing things. But, man, he shows up every day, ready to work, the same guy every day, same attitude, and he's really fun to work with.
Joe Lombardi was also asked about the wide receiving room and the core that they have here with Denver. Obviously, he's coming over from Keenan Allen, Mike Williams there with the Chargers. Now he's also got some big guys here in Denver too, Steve.
Yeah, definitely have big guys, big body guys that potentially can be great blockers. We've seen it before injuries. Now, post-injury, we need to see that same thing from these guys. Not afraid to go across the middle. Keenan Allen and Mike Williams going up for those jump balls is a beautiful thing. And we have the guys to do it. We just got to make sure we can get the ball to them, have time to do that. We haven't had that in the past. I think we'll have that this year.
Yeah, it sounds like Joe Lombardi's really excited about the skill set this receivers room has, and talked about hoping to be able to spread the ball around to all of them and show all of them love.
With Joe Lombardi, you have Sean Payton, who's been in the NFC his entire career, doesn't have a ton of familiarity with the AFC, whereas you have Joe Lombardi, who was just with the Chargers. He knows what the Chiefs defense is going to do. He knows what the Raiders defense is going to do. Probably knows a lot about what the Chargers defense wants to do as well. He also knows in this division you need to score a lot of points to keep up, and so he's got the right mindset, I think, and that should help Denver.
And he's got the right last name too, right?
Oh man, 100%.
Right grandfather.
Yeah, just knowing that Vince Lombardi is his granddad, I was just sitting there thinking, wow, man, you come from greatness.
It's in the genes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, a lot of eyes will be on this Broncos offense. We'll have to see how they do coming up here in a few weeks when training camp starts. That's going to do it for us. For Eric Dalala, Steve Atwater, and Sidney Jones, I'm Phil Milano.